AITA, it's very hydrating. This has been bugging me for a few days. Went to dinner with my wife recently to a relatively nice place. $30 45 pp mains. Quick side note. We're both in our 30s and both work in hospitality and worked in kitchens for years. So we're generally on our best behavior at restaurants. Anyway, we sit down and are greeted by a young woman, early 20s, who drops some menus and asks if we want to start with still or sparkling water. I looked at the drink menu and saw the still was $9 and the sparkling was $12. Neither of us care that much about fancy water. So I said tap is fine. She gave a sort of grimace and a small noise. I asked, is there something wrong with the tap water? She replied, it's very hydrating. Followed by an awkward silence. This was very strange to me, so I essentially repeated the question with slightly different verbiage. And once again got, it's very hydrating. I looked at her with an expression of please. Explain. More silence. Eventually I asked, what does that mean? She said, with no emotion, it will hydrate you. Now I'm feeling weird about the whole situation. And I flat out asked, with no expression or connotation, what's wrong with the tap water? Quote, you guessed it. It's very hydrating. I stood up and told my wife, we're going. Before my wife even realized what was going on, the waitress said, have a blessed day, with the smuggest smile I've ever seen. Am I in La La Land here? The triplicated response seems really dumb for someone who is a professional at hospitality. Anyway, my wife suggested I took it too far by leaving. In my opinion, I didn't take it far enough and should have spoke to a manager. But life's short and I didn't. AITA? Update 1. My wife was cool with leaving. We have a very equitable relationship. If one of us says to the other, we're leaving, or any variation of that, we trust each other to know we made the right call and we'll figure out the rest later. Update 2. This is in America. I'm from near there and have had the tap water in the vicinity several times. Without issue. I think the waitress was a spy. You accidentally spoke the code phrase, is there something wrong with the tap water? And she gave you the confirmation code, it's very hydrating. You were supposed to give her the microchip. That's why she kept giving you the confirmation code. ETA. Thank you, some guys farm for the gold. And, know any good white basketball players? NTA. That waitress was judging you because you don't want to spend $912 on water. NTA. A good restaurant is in business to provide guests with a good dining experience. This waitress is chasing off good business. I'm fairly certain her manager would like to know that this waitress is damaging their business and their reputation. That waitress has no business working in a fine dining establishment. NTA. Next time, instead of a tip, leave her a note that says, money can be exchanged for goods and services. It's also wet. NTA. NTA. The waiter was rude when she repeated her response after you asked for clarification. You asked a legitimate question. For her to explain her reaction to your asking for tap water, I would have left. 2. I think you should contact the owner or manager. When people pay a lot of money for a meal, they deserve polite service. I was traveling recently and was sat in the bar at a hotel. There was a restaurant on the 20th floor and I asked the bartender if it was good. He told me it was a nice space and great for taking Instagram photos. I asked him if the food was good and he just repeated the IG line. I got the message and went to eat somewhere else. Suspect you had the same type of thing going on here. NTA. It is more than likely that she was judging your choice, thinking you were cheap. Although there is another possible scenario. You know when something is objectively bad but you're not allowed to criticize it. So you find a way to compliment something random. Like you're at a friend's house, and they've just cooked a meal that doesn't taste very good. You can't bring yourself to criticize their cooking directly because you don't want to hurt their feelings. So you say something like, "Wow, your presentation is really something else tonight." Or, "These plates look so fancy." That could be what happened here. Their tap water may not have been great quality, or it could have had an odd taste. As the waitress couldn't think of a positive way to describe the tap water, she just went with hydrating. Water? You mean like, out the toilet? NTA. And also, sparkling water isn't for everyone. I personally can't drink it without feeling like I'm drinking a vodka soda. And I don't always want one of those. NTA for getting frustrated. However, I think a better response would have been, "Can I please speak with your manager?" The real answer with what is wrong with the tap water is that it's free. But she doesn't want to say that. Assholery notwithstanding, this is a hilarious interaction. After the second, "It's very hydrating," I turn into Jim Halper, desperately looking for a camera. In Ta, she was trying to talk you out of the free water and doing a weirdly bad job of it. Should have stayed and wrote, "It's very hydrating," on the tip line. She's been told to upsell. She thinks it's idiocy and will drive people away instead of raise ticket totals. She looks smug because you're making the same point she's been making to management in her head, but isn't allowed to say. From my waitress days anyway. This is hilarious. What a loon. I don't think I would have left, but I might have said, "Well, that sounds delicious. 2 tall glasses of very hydrating water, please. And make it extra hydrating." Quote. Obvious answers. Tips. Aside, she might have known something about the building's water quality that you didn't. NTA. She was judgy and you rightfully didn't feel respected cause you weren't. Quality restaurants don't rip their guests off by pushing $912 water. They're always polite, regardless of your wallet. You gave her plenty opportunity to correct her course. If the waiter is angry at you before you have even ordered, the rest of your night might be just as bad. And even if you and me totally misread the situation, you still didn't escalate or get angry at her. So there's no blame on you. Nah, it was an annoying answer. But I'm willing to bet she's been told she can't tell people the tap water tastes bad. So she has had to come up with something to say that isn't a lie but also isn't going to get her in trouble. You aren't tough for being irritated, though, and leaving. No idea who's the asshole. But here's what I think happened. Something genuinely is wrong with the tap water. It tastes bad, or could even be really bad. But she doesn't want to get fired. So she told you a fact about it and nothing else, to try to hint to you something is wrong with it.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. AmITheAsshole is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.